Hello everybody, this is Wayne Marhefka. It's probably a little noisy right now, but we're going to be taking off in about 5 minutes, and I wanted to welcome you all to the live Blackhawk demo for the Beyond line of sight. And right now we're just powering everything up, so you may see some pixelation of the video. Once they take off, I'll do a little more narration, because right now it's just a little harder to talk to everybody. So I'll be back on once they lift off. We need to get to 100% power before the video is going to be live. Okay. All right, go for it. Hello everybody, this is Wayne Marhefka. As you can tell, they just lifted off, and we are now transmitting over the Intelsat KU satellite. So currently we're just using a handheld camera. We did not have a EOIR wall available to us.
So we have one of the passengers right now who's just holding a camera, so it may seem a little jumpy, a little moving around, but we're in Tullahoma, Tennessee. And the key point here is that the data is being transmitted through the rotor blades. Even though it's a little jumpy, if you had a EOIR camera, you would be able to have a stabilization and you'd be able to zoom in on particular targets. The key here is the technology in that you are transmitting full motion video through the rotor blades with no particular interruptions. Periodically you might see a little flicker, and that's when you may have the transmission being sent right through the drive shaft, where you may get a tiny bit of blockage. But in general, you should see very constant video, which is key. This is probably one of the first times that we're flying on a Black Hawk helicopter. We are doing loopback, so the data is coming directly from the satellite into a data path CCT ground station, and then we're just having it hooked directly into a laptop here. Earlier, you may have seen a few photographs of the installation at XP Services in Tullahoma. They're also the ones who are providing the Black Hawk helicopter that installed the amount that was built by Applied Concept Group. So it's really been a full team effort here. So right now it looks like you're seeing downtown Tullahoma, Tennessee. The weather here has been rather, I guess, sporadic. You probably can see it's a little bit dark out. It's actually raining out, light rain here at the moment. So this is being transmitted over the Intelsat GS-18 satellite, and it looks like we have a little bit of loss right here. So I'm not sure exactly. So like I said, it's raining out fairly hard right now, and we're checking with the helicopter to see exactly what's going on. Oh, they're doing a 45-degree turn is what we were just told. Okay, so now we're back on. So not sure exactly why there was that long of a loss. It may have just been if they were doing a strong bank angle, it may have not had line of sight to the satellite. So I think what they're doing now is probably heading back down. Part of the key here is having good line of sight to the satellite. Oh, what we just got a note from the helicopter as they turn directly into the satellite, where you'd be going right through the drive shaft. So that is one area that you would have the blockage. So for the moment, I'm just going to let you see some of the video, and I'll be back in a second. Here you are.
Good to see you over there.
Okay, so I'm back on right now. One thing that we will probably do when they head back here is have the helicopter go into a hover when we're at the back at the hangar. So the unique thing about this is currently we're flying on a Black Hawk helicopter, and we have a FAA, I think it's a 337 certification, which is almost all the way to getting an STC from what I understand. But the antenna mount that is on the Black Hawk can be adapted to NH-90s, Mi-17s, Chinooks, virtually any other helicopter. We're talking or looking at putting it on the S-92 helicopters that are in a variety of different countries, as well as it's the same helicopter being used for the presidential helicopter. The ability to adapt easily to any type of platform is key in this area as well, in trying to keep down the size, weight, and power, because any type of additional weight is critical. For this particular platform, the center of gravity, we had to keep the two passengers that we have on the aircraft forward. But in other platforms, some of the aircraft are nose heavy and you want more weight in the back. The ability to move some of the hardware to the appropriate locations is a critical component in all of this. The current antenna weight is approximately 20 pounds. The antenna mount is in the area of about 15 pounds. And we're looking at both of these items to be able to remove some additional weight. So it's size, weight, and power, and reducing weight is always a critical aspect. The current antenna that we're using right now is a GetSat Millisat high antenna. We found over the years it's been one of the most reliable and key components of our overall architecture. The various different sizes that are available through GetSat allow us a lot of flexibility. So in looking at the overall architecture is also very important. The satellite that we're using right now, GS-18, is probably about equivalent in capability or power that we would be using in some of the satellites that are, say, in the Middle East or potentially over Yahsat. So the data rates we're getting are approximately right now is about 2 megabits. If we had clear sky, we were told that we could probably get closer to 4 megabits. The data rates that you're going to get are really dependent on the satellite that you have. The ERP, G over T, all play into the overall design of the architecture. So, if you have the more power you have, the more data you can get out. Currently, we're just transmitting full motion video. You also have the ability to be transmitting voice, other types of data, and I just got to note that they're in a turn right now, so they're probably turning right into the satellite, so it should be back on. So this is just one of the limitations that you have if you're flying directly into the satellite or flying directly away from it. Depending on the angle of the satellite is in the sky, is the type of blockage that you may or may not get. If you're at a high angle, up at 60 degrees, you're going to get less blockage because you're looking further up in the sky. If you're at a low look angle, which we are, I think we're somewhere around 30-degree look angle. The satellite's somewhere over, we're looking towards California, which is across the country. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But in general, there's a lot of flexibility in the overall architectural design for the end user. Some end users want to get data off of the aircraft, others want to get data to the aircraft. This is a bi-directional link, and you size the link based on the requirements of the end user. We know in many areas that you could be using this capability not only for military applications, but also you could be using it for disaster relief, search and rescue, and other applications in that area. Tell them to hover when they come back.
It's back.
Okay, I was just told that we were they were going into another turn, so they're turning into the satellite. Okay, so we're back. Looks like they're back into the airfield. So they're coming back. So you did see that there were a few outages, but as I said, when you're looking into the satellite, you're going to get some of those issues. So I can actually hear the helicopter, so it may get rather noisy now. They're probably going to come back and be looking into the hangar. So it may get rather noisy, and I may go on to mute in a second here. So I will be back once they land the Max. So I'll be back shortly because it's getting rather loud here. Okay, you on? Yeah. Okay, this is Wayne. I'm back. So they were just in the in front of the hangar, and they were in a hover.
I think they turned towards the satellite.
So one of the questions was the data rate up to the satellite. We were using, I think we're using 512 kilobits, and the packet loss when you're going through the rotor blades, we typically will get about 25% on the Blackhawk. So the packet lot on when you use a forward error correction, you get 0 packet loss. So the overhead rate associated with the algorithm is about 25%. You just tell me.
What's the current transmitted here on video mode?
Did we lose Link? I think so. No, no video. Okay, there was a little bit of blockage out there for a second. So the current ESNO, somebody asked a question, is based on the forward error correction that we're doing is we would lose link at about minus 1.5. So we're running at about 0.5 to 1.5 as far as the ESNO. Roy, do you have any other ones? I'm trying to go through some of the questions here that are coming on the chat, so we're just kind of streaming through them because I can't quite see them.
Yeah, video quality.
So I'm not sure exactly what's happening with the video. I think it might be operator error at the moment. So so there was a question. Oh, I see what they were doing. They were getting up and moving inside, trying to get a view of the cockpit. So the data rates, if you had a high throughput satellite, something like the I don't know, something if you had a G over T of 15 or 16, you could get up to potentially 10 megabits. But that's satellite dependent. Most satellites that are around don't quite give you that level. So the maturity level of the system is what you're seeing now. Is it's ready for deployment. It's mounted on a Black Hawk. All of the equipment are MIL standard or DO 160. What we've done here, like I said, we have a FAA 337 certification, which is almost all the way to an STC. Other aircraft require some type of Delta certifications. So the maturity level is extremely high. We have a number of different proposals into customers for sale. So it's very high and pretty much ready for deployment.
They're wrapping up.
Okay, so they're going to be wrapping up right now. So most of you have my email address, and if you have any particular questions, it's probably easier if you just send that to me because my email was in the invitations. So please feel free to send me any questions. We're going to be putting together a video that will be able to send you a link of some of the recordings. So the helicopter is now on the ground and you're just looking at some of the controls. So thank you very much, and like I said, send me your questions. Thanks.